Okay, so today we have Shloka 7.21. Yo yo yam yam tanum bhakta shraddhaya architam ichchati tasya tasya chalam shraddhan tam eva vidadhami aham. Translation: I am in everyone's heart as the super soul. As soon as one desires to worship some demigod, I make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to that particular deity. So this is Lord Krishna explaining to Arjuna. Um, so yeah, so this chapter, knowledge of the absolute. Um, Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna that he's seated in everyone's heart as a super soul, and uh, if somebody decides to worship a demigod, right? Lord doesn't stop that person, but instead, what he does is he makes his faith in that devotee. I mean, that person, um, to actually devote himself, dedicate himself to that particular deity. So why is it like this? I mean, this is His Grace Chaitanya Prabhu explains that. He gives some analogy, gives an example that in material world, um, somebody would not like this. He would want that person to continue to follow him or like that. But he might even you know get upset with that person, both of them. Why are you taking this person? This belongs to me. Or the other person, or why are you going to him? You should be under me. So like that. But here we see that Lord is not like that. He has given full independence. Now Prabhupada explains um, that there are two kinds of souls, right? One is the minute particle soul, that is Jivatma, Anu Atma, that is Anu, and the super soul is Vibhu Atma. Um, this is in Sanskrit, Vibhu means that Supreme Lord who is unlimited world, knowledge, riches, strength, fame, beauty, and renunciation. So somebody who has all of these, um, he is not dependent on anyone, right? He doesn't lack anything, and that is Lord, Supreme Lord, Lord Shri Krishna. He has all of these in full, unlimited. So anybody who in this material world, if anybody has any of these things in trace quantities, or we think that he's very famous because of this, either knowledge, riches, strength, fame, beauty, and renunciation, he might have one or two of these that also in trace quantities, and um, we might find it a very big person. But Lord has all of these in full, and anybody who has it actually has this bestowed on that person by the Lord Himself, directly or indirectly. Um, so let's see why somebody would want demigod, or why a living entity would reach out to demigod like that. So he is always satisfied in himself, undisturbed by sinful or pious activities. That is Lord Himself. He does not create a particular situation for any living entity, anything good or bad. It is not created by the Lord. It is the living entity himself. Bewildered by ignorance, desires to be put into certain conditions of life, and thereby his chain of action and reaction begins. Right? Now, in teachings of Queen Kunti, we find that Prabhupada explains that we are Anu, the smallest, and Krishna is Vibhu, the greatest. And we are part and parcel of this Krishna. And therefore, the Krishna is both the smallest and the greatest. Whereas we are only the smallest. Vibhu, the greatest, must be all inclusive. If one has a large bag, one can hold many things, whereas in a small bag, one cannot. And Prabhupada further explains that another name of this Paramatma feature of the Lord is Kala, or eternal time. So, Lord is present in everyone's heart as Paramatma or Super Soul. This is feature of the Lord, Paramatma feature of the Lord. And another name of this Paramatma feature of the Lord is Kala, or eternal time. Now, eternal time is the witness of all our actions, good and bad, and thus resultant reactions are destined by Him. Right? It is. It is not like that we are suffering because of some suffering given by the Lord. It is because of our actions. We may forget what the misdeed we did earlier in the past life, or but in the present moment, if we are suffering, it is because of our past reactions. This is past actions. There is a reaction. Um, so this Paramatma, Super Soul, is constant companion, and therefore he knows everything, past, present, and future. Whatever you like, your dislikes, everything. This Lord, Paramatma feature of the Lord, knows this. So he is the supreme controller also. So this same Paramatma is actually also seated in the heart of the demigod also, and he knows. So this is how it works. Now let's see how this would work. So the Kala offers the conditions hold both happiness and miseries. Um, so this is because of the misuse of the freedom. Now the living beings are given freedom as much as they deserve, as much freedom as they deserve, and misuse of that freedom is the cause of suffering. The devotees of the Lord do not misuse this freedom. So, for example, when it comes to this freedom thing, we should understand that now we are given this freedom, and we should not misuse. And Lord is seated in our heart; He is observing everything, and the same Lord is seated in the heart of the demigod also, and and that is how this thing works. The Lord knows in our heart if we desire something, we want to worship demigod. He makes our faith steady, and so that we can devote ourselves to the demigod. And demigod also is dependent on the Lord, because he cannot give anything to the jiva without getting empowerment from the Lord Himself. So, so, here the Kala offers the conditions of both happiness and miseries. Now these uncalled miseries and happiness are all predestined by eternal time. No one is therefore either an enemy or friend of the Lord. Everyone is suffering and enjoying the result of his own destiny. This destiny is made by the living beings in course of social intercourse. So whatever we have lived in past lives, we have accumulated that karma and impressions and desires, and we carry forward in part of our subtle body into our next life as prarabdha and like that, and that we come to experience in the present life. The thing is, everyone wants to, in this material world, everyone wants to lord it over material nature, and thus everyone creates his own destiny under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. And this Lord is all pervading, and therefore he can see everyone's activities. Now, as localized Paramatma, Lord, he is seated in our heart, and as all pervasive feature of the Lord, he is spread across in everything. In every atom there is Lord, which we cannot see, but that is kind of like non-localized. He is in every atom, he is everywhere, he is all pervasive. And in our heart, that is the localized Paramatma feature. He is all pervasive, and he can see every activities, ours, demigods, and everything. And so this Lord, because of the Lord has no beginning or end, he is also known as the eternal time Kala. Now, embodied beings, however, are bewildered. Why are they bewildered? Why do they misuse their freedom? So they are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their real knowledge. A living entity is by superior nature full of knowledge, because a living entity is spiritual, and is superior by nature. It is not material, and thus it is also full of knowledge. Nevertheless, he is prone to be influenced by this ignorance due to his limited power. Now, because we are infinitesimal, limited, we are anu, atomic, Lord is Vibhu, so we are fallible, and we, because of this limited power, we can come under the influence of this material energy and be under the ignorance, and we can forget our constitutional position that we are eternally servant of the Supreme Lord. And then if we do things in material life, and we accumulate karma, and we forget, but Lord never forgets, because he is part of the he's seated in our heart as a super soul, so he's witnessing everything. So that is how we come to experience happiness and uncalled miseries, even though we don't want it, but it happens, it comes on its own, because Lord is there witnessing everything. So because he is a living soul, the Jivatma is Anu, is a living soul, he has the capacity to desire by his free will. Now, this free will is because we are spiritual like Lord, but we are Anu, atomic, although very infinitesimal. We also have this free will, but our free will, our independence is very tiny, minute, infinitesimal, and limited. But we have the capacity to desire. So, because of this free will, we sometimes use it properly, sometimes we misuse it, and that is we how get suffering and happiness in this material world. So, this such desire is fulfilled only by the omnipotent Lord. So we see it is actually the Lord, Supreme Lord, who is fulfilling our desires. Whether we do directly worship Him or indirectly we go to the demigods, it is fulfilled by the omnipotent Lord. So when the living entity is bewildered in his desires, the Lord allows him to fulfill those desires. But the Lord is never responsible for the actions and reactions of the particular situation which may be desired. So earlier we saw that Lord has given free independence, free will, and if somebody desires to worship demigod, he makes that person's faith steady in that demigod. Um, and this is indirect, right? People reaching out to demigod, that is demigod, what they can do is they can bestow material benedictions, that those are temporary, they are not eternal. They cannot give you moksha or liberation, they cannot make you immortal. Like Hiranyakashipu reached out to Lord Brahma after doing so much tapasya, and he wanted benediction. He asked for immortality, but Lord Brahma said that is something I cannot do. Then he made his certain condition, so and so I should not die. It should be evening, neither night nor morning, things like that, in out. So all those things, not on ground, not on air, so like that. So that he uses material intelligence, but Lord is perfect, and he knows what anybody is doing, thinking, doing. So uh, he cannot escape that if he does wrong. So um, so that is the what that Brahmaji, what he could do was give him, fulfill those conditions, but not make him immortal, or give him Vaikuntha Dham. That is not something demigods can do. They can only give you material benedictions, temporary. Like Prabhupada explains it further, what those things people generally ask and reach out to whom. Um, so So, being in a bewildered condition, and therefore the embodied soul identifies himself with the circumstantial material body and becomes subjected to the temporary misery and happiness of life. So, with this material body, when we think that we are this body, and we start thinking like that and experiencing things like that, and we forget our eternal relationship with the Lord, and and birth after birth, and this ignorance, this contamination, covering of the soul, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained, Chaitanya Darpa Marjanam, cleaning the mirror of the heart, the mind. So actually, we get birth after birth when we forget our relationship with the Lord and we start living a material life, um, um, doing material things, desiring material things, and experiencing material happiness and all those things, and we forget. So the soul gets covered further, and the ignorance can be too much, and the person can be totally in the mode of ignorance. It can be mode in the passion, or it can be mode of goodness. But nevertheless, in material world, you would find people in the three modes, in one mode more than the other, preceding more than the other, and other times another mode comes into um, primary state, or um, is more prevalent. But that is how it is, and the soul in material world forgetting is actually going through these three modes of material nature, one more than the other, and doing things and collecting karma like that. So because of this forgetful nature, this is how it is, and he forgets. So the Lord is the constant companion of the living entity as Paramatma, or the super soul, and therefore he can understand the desires of the individual soul, as one can smell the flavor of a flower by being near it. So you might not experience Lord knowing everything, but as Lord is next to us, because we are soul in this heart, in this gross heart, this tiny atomic soul is there, and next to that there is a super soul, and that super soul is witnessing everything as Paramatma. He understands our desires. How? The example, the analogy has been made, as one can smell the flavor of the flower by being near it. So Lord, and being next to the soul, knows everything. You don't have to say, he knows it. So if you like to worship demigod, he knows it, and he makes your faith steady in it. You don't have to even ask Lord, I want your permission to go out to demigod. He already knows it. It's already done. He's not craving for you. He would be very pleased if you come to your constitutional position and worship him. If not, he's okay. You are taking an indirect route. Maybe not one life, maybe few more lives, and you will come to realize and then come to direct worship and take to bhakti. So that is how it is. So the embodied minute of atomic soul has the freedom, independence, free will to desire, but that supreme Lord seated as the localized Paramatma super soul who sanctions those desires. Now, how this sanction works. So we'll see that. So under the effect of ignorance, if the atomic soul decides to practice its minute freedom, independence, free will, and thus chooses to desire not to practice Krishna consciousness and instead practice demigod worship, then the Lord says that it is He who steadies its faith so that the soul can practice that. So, therefore, the embodied soul, by its immemorial desire to avoid Krishna consciousness, causes his own bewilderment. That is, by taking to material life, forgetting his constitutional position, forgetting his worship of the Lord, taking to demigod worships, or even being in further lower modes, ignorant, that causes his own bewilderment. So consequently, although he is constitutionally eternal, blissful, and cognizant, that is full of knowledge, due to the littleness of his existence, that is being atomic, being very small, infinitesimal, he forgets his constitutional position of service to the Lord and is thus entrapped by niche. That is, that he is eternally servant of the Lord. He forgets that because being Jivatma. Marginal potency, we have the tendency to either choose material or spiritual. We have this free will, and being in ignorance, it becomes we can be captivated by the material energy, and we can forget that and further fall down, and maybe birth after birth and birth after birth, it can be very worse. One can be total in mode of ignorance. Only if somebody has mercy on us, like a guru or a Vaishnava or something like that, um, you can be then start coming out of from that ignorance slowly. So so that is how it is. So the demigod worship, the demigods do not possess any independent powers. In fact, they do not wield enough powers. Prabhupada explains this in Renunciation Through Wisdom 2.5. In fact, they do not wield enough power even to invoke respect for themselves. That also is done by the Supreme Lord. So because you are atomic Jivatma, Anu, seated in this heart, and Lord is observing as super soul everything. So if you decide to worship demigod, he makes your faith steady, and then um, you will start respecting the demigod, and that is how Lord will instill and inspire you to go to reach out to demigod and worship him and respect him. And so this is how the demigod will get respect from you, and that also is done by the Supreme Lord. So here again, you must understand that the Lord Krishna's partial expansion, the Super Soul, resides in everyone's heart. And it is He who instills within one's heart faith and respect for the various demigods. Now, the extraordinary powers we see in the Sun God and other demigods are in fact the Supreme Lord's powers. So these demigods are actually administrators of the universe. They are participating in the universal affairs, administrators. There is Varun Devta, there is Vayu Devta, there is Agni Devta, Lord Indra, Lord Brahma, and each has its own department and taking care of those. And they give you benedictions according to the limited or whatever power or whatever they can give you benedict. So bestow on you, and those are, but all those are all might sound like they are great, but actually they are material and temporary. Like mentioned earlier, they cannot give you mortality, they cannot make you immortal, live forever, or like that things. So those who are attached to fulfilling the material desires are naturally more attracted to the energy than to the energetic, the source of that energy. And so energetic means, now demigods are also Jivatma, but they are very refined, they are very advanced, very powerful compared to normal Jivatmas like us. They did tapasya and they actually earned that. They wanted to have that. So so we can respect them, but we should understand the difference, what not to ask, and who to ask what. So here, energetic is actually, we also are energy. We are part of the marginal energy of the Lord. We are Jivatma. We are Anu, atomic, and so are the demigods. They are also They are not energetic. Energetic is Lord Krishna. He is Vishnu Tattva. So So if somebody is attracted to the energy, like one person getting attracted to another person in this material world, one jivatma getting attracted to another jivatma. It can be also one ordinary jivatma getting attracted to another jivatma who's actually a demigod. um, so Lord doesn't stop that, but he is energetic, we are source of that energy, so we should understand that. But Lord doesn't stop us. He allows us to fulfill our material desires by approaching demigods. Um, but as mentioned earlier, we should not misuse our freedom, free will, and desire material things. Um, so, worship of demigods is indirect, inferior, and unsystematic. And it is unsystematic worship of the Supreme Lord. So, so that is like you are indirectly worshipping the Supreme Lord. You're not approaching Supreme Lord directly, but you're going through the demigods. As mentioned earlier, he is seated in the heart as super soul of both the demigods and us, the ordinary jivatmas on this earth. Um, so the Prabhupada gives an example that the demigods' powers are like those of a king's officers. The demigods have no independent powers because they are jivas, minute living entities. An officer of the king can bestow some favors because of the powers invested in him by the king. Similarly, a demigod can shower benefits upon his worshippers because the Supreme Lord has given the demigod some powers. Um, So Prabhupada explains that in 7.20, those whose minds are distorted by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to those to their own natures. So whatever benediction they get, that is sanctioned by Krishna. They cannot give it independently. The demigods are not independent. They are also dependent on the Supreme Lord. We are also dependent on the Supreme Lord. Now, if we choose to go through indirect method through demigods, whatever we ask, whatever demigods give, that is actually bestowed by the Supreme Lord, because he is seated in their heart. He inspires them to give it to us if he sanctions it, and he in our heart he sanctions it. If we want to worship, we can reach out, and if he sanctions it, they might give it. So that is how it is working. um, so if the desire filled demigod worshipper becomes a little enlightened about the fact that the demigod he worships is fulfilling his desires by the grace of Lord Krishna, then with clear intelligence he'll begin worshipping the Lord Krishna directly. So that is how it is. Another thing Prabhupada says is, understanding all this, then why, somebody may ask, why the all-powerful God gives facilities to the living entities for enjoying this material world, and so lets them fall into the trap of this illusory energy, forgetting our constitutional position. Prabhupada explains that the answer is that if the Supreme Lord as the Super Soul does not give such facilities, then there is no meaning to independence, that free will which we spoke of earlier. So therefore, he gives everyone full independence, whatever one likes. But his ultimate instruction we find in the Bhagavad Gita: one should give up all other engagements and fully surrender unto him. That will make the person happy. So living entities and demigods are both subordinate to the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the living entity cannot worship the demigod by his own desire, nor can the demigod bestow any benediction without the supreme will. We often hear this analogy: not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And somebody may say, so you will, if somebody is in distress condition, and they would reach out to the demigod in this material world, as it is mentioned in the Vedic literature. So somebody might take to that. Um, so we hear that so many examples as what is given in this also. So a person wanting something particular thing may worship that such so and so demigod. For example, a diseased person is recommended to worship the sun god. A person wanting education may worship the goddess of learning, Saraswati, and a person wanting a beautiful wife may worship the goddess Uma, the wife of Lord Shiva. So these recommendations are there in Vedic scriptures. Um, and So Lord inspires if somebody has a strong desire to get so and so benediction. So we understand this is how it is. Both Jivatma, us, and the demigods are not independent. They are dependent on the supreme will of the Lord. And this is how the super soul is working. It is showing. So therefore, the embodied soul, by his immemorial desire toward Krishna consciousness, causes his own bewilderment. Consequently, although he is constitutionally eternal, blissful, and cognizant, due to the littleness of his existence, he forgets his constitutional position of service to the Lord and is thus entrapped by nischayans. Um, And sometimes, under the spell of ignorance, the living entity claims that the Lord is responsible for his conditional existence, his suffering. But as we just discussed, we understand that that is not the case. It is our actions that cause a reaction. So this is a world of cause and effect. We do something, there is a cause and there is an effect, and this effect is also part of this cause, and this effect becomes cause for further an effect, and so and so and so and so goes on. um, and life after life, birth, death, old age, disease goes on. So we understand direct worship of the Lord and we understand indirect worship of the Lord. In either case, it is the Lord seated as a super soul who is inspiring us to reach out to demigod if someone wants to. And actually, it is the demigod. He is empowered by the Lord, because he's working in this administration of the Lord in this universal affairs. He is empowered by the Lord because he is seated as super soul in the heart of the demigod also. So only if Lord sanctions in both places does this sanction work. This works. So, we understand how this works. So it is best actually to take to Krishna consciousness directly in Bhakti Yoga. Um, and Why delay? Why leave it to time and earn some karma and suffer it later and be in forgetful nature? We don't know why we are going through this thing. It's all because of our past life karma. Um, and so we should take to bhakti, which is beyond these three gunas, rajogun, tamagun, and tamagun, rajogun, and satogun, shuddha bhakti, shuddha sattva state. We should strive for that, and be out of this cycle of birth and death and be in blissful condition. So, so thank you everyone. If anybody has any questions, please ask before we log off. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
What Hare Krishna Prabhu is,
Hare.
since you have said that the demigods are administrators of the materialistic world,
Yeah.
but since all human beings are always afflicted by some problem or the, and he is always directed to some of these demigods to sort of relieve his miseries, isn't it, Prabhu?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Might
That is. So
all this.
actually, yes, that is there. So the Vedic scriptures give those solutions. Reach out to so and so demigod for so and so thing. But it's actually the ignorance that is why we are suffering. You know. For example, if somebody reaches out to demigod and gets some benediction, um, because he is still in ignorance, he is prone to make further mistakes in future life, in immediate future and maybe future life, and he will continue to remain in that misery. That misery will continue to come because we are making mistakes. We are still in that forgetful condition of the Supreme Lord. Uh, and these material benedictions, for example, if somebody wants some riches, he wants a big car, let's say, Ferrari or Lamborghini. We see in news, right, so many times. So and so person got drunk on so and so day, driving such a big, fast car, and hit so and so and so and so happened. So, these benedictions doesn't guarantee that we will never have any misery. So we should be very careful what we ask. Um, um, Somebody can misuse his thing power. Somebody is driving very fast but also drunk because he has money, and but that somebody would do such thing because of ignorance, because of forgetfulness. He would not know what is sin and what is um, piety and what is bhakti, not knowing. Somebody who is not afraid under the influence of this tamoguna and all that thing can do such and such thing. So this doesn't guarantee that the best thing is to be out of ignorance once and for all, and relieve ourselves from all these possibilities of making mistakes. One should be in knowledge of our constitutional position. So how we can be actually be happy? These cars and all these things don't give us happiness. They are actually illusory effect of the temporary happiness. Um, these three gunas. So 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 that is how it is. So Lord, we understand how this works. Actually, it is the Lord who is giving. If you please Lord, you can even actually reach out to Lord directly if you want whatever benediction you want from so and so God. You can. This is not the best thing to ask for something material, but if it were so, the best thing is actually to reach out to Supreme Lord Himself, because we are part and parcel of Him. Even demigods ask from the Supreme Lord. So we can ask for Supreme Lord for eternal blissful happiness, because we want happiness, right? But in under the influence of agyan, ignorance, we actually ask something which we think it will give us happiness, right? So being in good knowledge, complete knowledge, we should know what to ask and what not to ask. Asking for something which can be a pain in future, which can give us keep us continue to keep us in ignorance, and give us pain in future, that kind of possibility we should not ask, right? So that is the best thing, to be out of ignorance, take to Krishna consciousness directly. And whatever, if you are suffering something, and if you want a solution for that, you can approach to Krishna himself. He can bestow, because he's giving those empowerments to the demigods also. This is not the best thing. A devotee would not ask anything material, but nevertheless, if this is it's unbearable, you can reach out to Supreme Lord and ask for those benedictions or blessings. He is actually giving it to them through demigods. It is actually he who is giving us. Um, so bhakti yoga is actually the solution for everything. Um, Being in complete knowledge, you will be always happy in no matter what state, wherever you are. That we understand from Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he came 5 years back, and he gave this Krishna consciousness movement, this Hare Krishna mantra, and gave this knowledge of our constitutional position. We can understand that what are the things, what kind of life we should live, what are the things we should do, and what are the things we should not do, refrain from, and then we should strive for that. It can be difficult, but we should strive for that, and then we'll see the effect of this, because he is Bhagwan himself, and whatever he is giving, the latest solution in Kali Yuga, whatever solution is giving, understanding that in Kali Yuga it is so difficult to practice, and so he has made it so easy. This Hari Katha or Hari Nam or Hari Krishna Mantra, take to this Krishna consciousness, take in association of devotees, eat Krishna Prasadam, um, and chant and be happy, have darshan of the Lord. Once we develop this relationship with the Supreme Lord, misery will we will not be in misery. Whatever effect of our prarabdha karma is there, um, if it will be there, if we continue to practice, it will go off. Uh, Lord guarantees that. So yeah,
Hare
Okay.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Very
Krishna.
good. Thank you, sir.
Hare Krishna.
While I understand that I should not worship demigods
Hmm.
for my material this
Benedictions.
benedictions,
Yeah.
I don't did not find any answer to few of the realities which I've read in or got to know through our
Hmm.
scriptures. First
Yeah,
is
yeah.
Krishna itself has advised Arjuna to pray to Shiva for the
Hmm.
Pashupati Astra.
Hmm.
Then Krishna himself has prayed to demigods to beget a son from
Hmm.
Jambavati.
Yeah, yeah.
Then Lord Rama was advised to pray to Aditya by Rishi Agastya.
Hmm.
So, do we have an explanation for all this? While they are supposed to be our role models, if they
Hmm.
are worshipping demigods, then how do we why should anybody would get bewildered. So please, can you kindly throw a light
Yeah,
on this?
yeah. So see, what you are asking for is still material benediction. The actual position, so when we take to Bhakti Yoga, from when we read the scriptures like Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, we understand that the constitutional position of the spirit soul is that he is eternally he is eternally servant of the Supreme Lord, and the suffering in this material world, our being present in this material world, asking for material things, they and then continue to suffer even further, is actually because of our forgetfulness of the our constitutional position. So whatever benedictions you mention are actually material, right? They are temporary. And we just understood just now when we explained what Prabhupada has explained. Actually, he is seated as a super soul, and he inspires. The minute you have a material desire and you want to worship demigod, he will not stop you, because in either case, if demigod, whatever sanction they are going to give, he is seated there as super soul who is actually sanctioning those benedictions. So whatever you mentioned, you asked for Pashupati Nath, the whatever the weapon
Astra.
and astra. That was part of that role he was doing. Arjuna was doing. He was working.
No, then Krishna himself could have given, na?
Yeah, I mean he could have, but you see,
No, he
he.
also advised. We should not.
Uh,
I mean, why should? I mean, he's misdirecting him. No, he's not
No,
directing
no,
him correctly.
he is not directing. He is not misdirecting him. See, Arjuna's role. Arjuna. Our best thing is to actually fully surrender to the Supreme Lord, whatever Lord desires. Now, Arjuna was actually thinking that he was actually fighting for himself, that he will be harming his relatives, brothers, and all that. But actually, when he understood that he is actually supposed to fully surrender to Supreme Lord, um, that is when his ignorance was removed. Now these demigods, whatever benediction, the weapon they were giving, are actually the benedictions given by they're actually empowered by the Supreme Lord. He's seated as a super soul in those entities also, right?
Yeah,
So
but then meaning for a very what do you call
mhm,
fallen soul like me or somebody to understand everything should be clear. Like if people like me will get may get misdirected. They say, "Oh, Krishna only advised Arjuna
yeah,
to worship Lord, so even I can."
yeah,
Krishna only prayed to so and so for a son,
okay.
so even I
So
can pray.
yeah, yeah. So see, he's asking for a weapon from somebody who has been empowered to give a weapon. That was not a mistake, right? That is so. Our role. What is our role as Jivatma? Are we actually doing? Are we actually fighting a war for Krishna? Is it actually required? Are we required? Are we required to do such and such thing? So when we take to Bhakti Yoga, we understand our constitutional position. Arjuna also had to finally, if to go back to where he was, he actually had to have prema for the Lord, right? Because he
Mm-hmm.
served the Supreme Lord. Under the instruction of the Lord, he with that prema, whatever love he had for the Lord, he followed that and he achieved what he achieved, right? So we as Jivatma, ordinary Jivatma, our constitutional position is actually to love and serve Supreme Personality of Godhead. If your role requires you to do so and so thing, and if you did that, there it would not be mistake, right? But we
Mm-hmm.
are ordinary, very ordinary
So,
living beings. To
yeah, we
skip,
are very ordinary, but
hmm,
does it really mean, like, see, suppose I
hmm,
am trying to, achieve prema of
yes,
Krishna, and
correct.
I'm a sadhak.
Sadhak, very
And so
ordinary, yeah.
while in my during my sadhana,
Hmm.
if I need some material benediction, is it right or wrong?
No, see,
Because
okay.
we have.
So the best thing is actually to not ask.
Fortunately for me, I am not asking for any
No, no,
material
no.
benefits. I'm
You,
just asking
huh.
a question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is right. It is right. See, once you understand what will happen when you take material benediction, it is not wrong, but because we are still in ignorance, as explained earlier, the example of somebody asking for a very fast car, and then somebody driving under the influence of the alcohol, right?
Mm.
You can misuse that benediction. There is no guarantee that you will always use it properly, because we are still, although we worshipped and got material benediction, that means we are still in state of forgetfulness. We are still covered in ignorance to whatever degree.
Yeah,
Everybody,
we are still on the
uh,
material plane.
we are still covered in ignorance. If we
Mm.
achieve perfection, we remove all our ignorance, we will come to love Krishna more and more. These things which we feel that we need, these material things, we will not need those things. Lord will take care of whatever we lack. He promises that, right? I preserve what my devotees have, and I provide what they lack. He guarantees that,
Mm.
right, in Bhagavad Gita. So he will ensure that. So let me find one shloka which
No, I was just saying, Prabhuji, that
hmm,
because of all these, I think so Jivatmas are getting encouraged to worship demigod. That's the only thing I want to say.
Yeah, yeah. So
Because
that is
I'm not
uh,
distracted actually. I'm just
no, no, no. What Krishna is
as
saying,
a
you can do that if you want, but this is how this works. As a super soul is seated in both the places, and he is the one who's actually sanctioning.
mm,
Right? So he, once you decide to worship demigod, he makes sure immediately, he makes sure that he steadies your faith in that demigod. And it is demigod in his heart also, it is super soul who seated, and he sanctions that benediction, whatever to whatever extent you worship and please him, he will give you that. In either case, it is actually the super soul, which is plenary portion of the supreme lord himself, the Krishna. His hero Dakshay Vishnu's feature, Paramatma feature, is actually observing everything and sanctioning. So when we ask material benedictions, what happens is, you might have a very good material life now, but this does not guarantee that you will not have another birth, right? Because you are still in
mm,
ignorance. You did not achieve perfection, you did not achieve complete knowledge, you did not practice whatever your relationship with the supreme lord is, whatever your surupa is, you did not achieve that. And thus you will get another chance in another material birth, and you will go through all those stages: birth, death, old age, and disease. And to the extent what you did bhakti or remove ignorance, you will start that in the next life to from that where you left in the past life. So this misery will go on, birth, that old age, and disease. Now what is the guarantee that in previous life whatever benedictions you got did not free you from birth, that old age, and disease, did not free you from next birth, material birth? In next life when you get birth, what is the guarantee that you will not do more karma, or they will not do any sin in new future life, and you will not further fall down? There is no guarantee. It is very
mm,
risky affair. In past life you can be a king like Indra. In future life you can fall down because of some mistake or material desires. There is any possibility, we have it in scriptures, right? There are so many people who fall down. So the best is, once you understand how these things work, what is our constitutional position, and our nature is that we are supposed to have love for Krishna, that is the perfection, we should go towards that and
yes,
remove
brother.
our ignorance. Read the scriptures, take association of devotees, whatever the scriptures say, whatever the guru says, these are the things to follow in bhakti yoga. Take Krishna prasadam, this will remove our ignorance. Take to Krishna consciousness, chant Hari Nama, this will remove our ignorance. Then slowly slowly you will come to rise. You have the knowledge what to ask for and what not to ask for. You can have a person who's very rich, is a millionaire and billionaire, and he can still be in such a miserable condition mentally. And then a bhakta who doesn't have anything, he has a mridanga, harmonium, and he is always happy, blissful, he is taking Krishna prasadam. You will come across people, and you don't know the reason why they are like that, but something
Mm.
will inspire you to reach out and observe their life and see. For example, our Goswamis of Vrindavan, the six Goswamis of Vrindavan,
Haridas Thakura.
Haridas Thakura chanting. He was a Muslim, and in that particular birth he was a Muslim. And Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami, Srila Raghunath Dasa Goswami, the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, how austere life they lived, and they were empowered by the Supreme Lord Himself, and then they blessed so many other people in take to Krishna consciousness, and because of their kripa, by the Hari Nama or Hari Katha, they got so inspired that people left everything and they are living such a life of a mendicant and reading scriptures and in state of bliss. So they didn't have banks, and they were so actually so very rich, and they left everything. So but they had full knowledge, and they were giving full knowledge, what is our constitutional position, what you should do. This Hari Nama, you take to that Hari Katha, listen, take a guru, do these things and don't do these things. Then you get knowledge. This understanding, wow, this material world, this is very dangerous. You can have, you see in news, right? So many people who are so rich, they go through so miseries. These film actors and actresses and all those things, and big people, Hollywood, and all these people, these businessmen also, some of them have so much money, yet they die of disease, or they end up their life because of, other people want some money, they had so much money that still they end up their life, right? So
Yes,
this
brother.
doesn't guarantee. This material is very risky. Only once you understand what is our constitutional position, what is our nature, our sambandha, abhidhya, priyojana, once you take a guru and start practicing Krishna consciousness, take the bhakti yoga, whatever step you do, whatever small step you do, Krishna guarantees, if we were to live our life after practicing bhakti and still it is incomplete, he guarantees that, he ensures that our next life we will start where we left. If you did 50%, you will start at 51. If you did 60, you will start at 61. If you left at 90, you will start at 91. Krishna guarantees that. But
Mm.
karma, or whatever material benedictions you use, karma, whatever you earn, is temporary in this material world. It's the effect of the three modes of material natures, tamogun, rajogun, satogun. And again, this does not guarantee freedom from next birth, right? Material birth. We will, because of karma, we will end up taking birth again. So these material benedictions, they facilitate our sense gratification, but they don't guarantee complete full knowledge or freedom from ignorance. So bhakti yoga is the complete solution, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given this. So once we understand these things and we start moving towards this thing, then once you have your, whosoever is there guiding you on a daily basis, or a counselor, he will he will guide you. Or once you come to temple, also hear Bhagavatam, Katha, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and whatever endeavor, whatever small step you do, whether attending arti or somebody is chanting and you hear it, that is not a waste. It is actually
Mm.
liberating. It removes ignorance. That guarantee the scriptures give. That guarantee the Krishna gives. So the best thing is actually to have a guru. A guru will guide us, and whatever questions you have, he will give answer to that.
Yes.
Or he
Prabhuji,
will.
I got the answer,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I'm just I'm thinking that
Hmm.
probably these are the reasons why Jivatmas are getting attracted to demigods.
It's
Probably
actually,
because even the Vedas have
yeah, yeah, yeah. Even
they
the
have not
Vedas.
read the Srimad Bhagavatam,
Correct,
then
correct,
they
correct,
get
correct.
misdirected because of
Yeah,
the Vedas and the Karma Kandas
Ye-
and
yeah.
these examples. So probably that is the reason, but I am not misled or anything. My
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
gurus,
So it's actually
all
good.
of you are.
So actually, that it's the level of ignorance one has. So if somebody is free from ignorance 20%, that is his capacity. Somebody is completely free from ignorance, you will find him blissful. So that is how it is. So the best thing
Yes,
is to remove ignorance, take to a process which removes ignorance, and takes to a process which helps us practice our constitutional position, in our constitutional position. And the same God who is giving us, there are indirect methods, direct, take direct method, this Hari Katha and Hari Nama, and worship the Supreme Lord, Bhakti Yoga. So that is the
yes,
best thing.
Prabhuji.
Once you go through the entire Bhagavad Gita, you'll come to the same thing, same conclusion.
Yes,
So
Prabhuji.
very good question. Well, it helps us think further, what to do and what not to do, and what we have gone through so much. Once you take to this, you realize what we have done in the past, and where we are, how we are behaving, and where we are right now. So thank you, Mataji. Thanks for asking this.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji, for
Krishna
the
Prabhu, can I add something?
answer.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna. The thing is,
Yes,
in
Prabhuji.
the Vedas, there are 2 points, okay? One is called as Veda, one is called as Vedanta. Okay? Vedas are Traigunya Vishaya, means in 3 modes of material nature, the Vedas are. They are for the material purpose, okay, for our material benedictions and material, what do you say, fulfillment. Nistraigunya means Vedanta. Vedanta means most confidential knowledge. Just like Bhagavad Gita is also part of Mahabharata, and Lord Krishna's instructions about Lord Shiva are also part of Mahabharata. But Krishna, he says that this is the most confidential knowledge of the Vedas to Arjuna, right? In a secret setting, he says that. So, this is a secretive knowledge of the Vedas. So, in the 15th chapter also and 9th chapter also, Krishna says that this is Guhyam, means a very, very most iti Guhya Tamam Shastram, the most confidential knowledge of the Shastras. So, Krishna is revealing the most, it's not for everybody, you know. Krishna is very selectively, he says this knowledge. Actually, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Somebody who is not very intelligent, we should not tell them about
Hmm.
Krishna consciousness. Somebody who is not very broad minded, not very intelligent, he tells in the 18th chapter, who has not done proper tapasya, who is a non devotee, we must not tell him this supreme secret. And I am telling you this because you are non envious, you are my very good friend. That is why I am telling you. Okay. And he also says, Krishna says, whatever I do, the whole world follows. And Krishna only created the demigods for the sake of giving benedictions for the living entities. So the point is, it's not that Krishna himself has worshipped demigods. The point is, if Krishna doesn't worship demigod, nobody will worship them. That is the point.
Hmm.
It is like, advertisement, right? So they'll
Yeah.
be like Amitabh Bachchan or somebody will show something and say, see, I am also using this brand. Then everybody will buy it. Otherwise, that brand has no value actually. So it's like that. Everybody, I mean, all the living entities also they get motivated. They say, "Oh, Lord Rama worshipped. Oh, Lord Shiva, Lord Krishna worshipped. So let me worship." Otherwise, they are actually not interested to worship because
But
Lord
then
Rama
that is
worshipped,
isn't
Krishna
that
worshipped.
adding to the bewilderment, Prabhuji?
Yeah, but it is like that. No,
Why to bewilder? Like if I am
bewilder
have to teach a
Krishna
group of
bewilders Mataji.
students,
Krishna is Matta Smriti
if
Jnanam
I have to
Apohanamcha.
teach a group of students, I will teach the gold standard. I
Yes.
will not teach any other procedure which is not going to give us good results.
The problem is the living entities are by nature envious. Okay, so for envious non-devotee or
All the
who is
more since
not
we are
qualified,
fallen, we are less intelligent. We should be
yeah,
given even stricter and very what do you call crisp advice. Like either
Actually,
उधर lose छोड़
then
दिया
they
तो
will
actually,
rebel, no,
we
Mataji.
become
Then
loose
they will
only.
rebel. I mean,
yeah,
see,
yeah, yeah.
Krishna
Like you
says
understand, no, what is gold standard and what is the rest.
gold standard he is giving in Bhagavad Gita, but the problem is he is telling no, do not. He says in Bhagavad Gita, one instruction, he says, do not disturb a materialistic person. So if he
Hmm.
is in illusion, let him be in illusion. He says that
So,
Krishna.
Prabhu,
But that
Srila
is so
explains.
sad.
Yeah, Mataji,
Yeah.
Prabhupada explains in this same part that it's actually the free will. If Lord doesn't give you free will, then you cannot say that is independence, right? But He ensures that even though you're atomic spirit soul, you have this independence, free will. Now today you are asking because you have advanced, and you're saying that you should give gold standard. Why put into the illusion like that? So Prabhupada has explained that others can ask why, if you say this is free will, then why you didn't allow me to worship demigod, because I want that. There are all kinds of people that Prabhupada, as Prabhu
No,
explained just now.
Krishna should directly say, please.
Actually,
I mean, there should be
hmm,
nowhere should the leader
hmm,
have
Mataji, actually the
advice
answer for
or
that is Mataji,
worship.
answer for that is Krishna tells it through his devotees like that. He doesn't say directly. Okay, he does it through devotees because Krishna is very merciful.
hmm.
Devotees are more merciful. For example, Prabhupada does not, I mean, whether you like it or not, Prabhupada will say, don't worship demigods.
No,
So,
no, we like it,
devotees are
but
more
I'm just
merciful.
wondering why it is not so crisp. Like when we were taught about a particular surgical step, we were told,
Huh.
don't do this, just don't do it, bus. And
So
In
we
Bhagavad Gita, I
followed that
explained, no,
and we
uh,
advise
crisply.
the same to our students.
Krishna
so
Prabhuji,
Yes, please. Yeah, please.
can I
So,
add my thought,
so
Yes,
Prabhuji?
yes.
we are, as we say always, we say that we are democratic. When we become undemocratic, we revolt. So God has really give us each one of
hmm,
us the independence, the intelligence, and
yeah.
the mind and everything else, to really be independent, not dependent, actually, isn't it?
In
No, like
decision making.
see, our parents will tell us don't smoke, don't drink. If you wish to, you drink and smoke. That is different thing. But having said that, I will not smoke and I will not drink. But my
So
father and mother have told me that I will not
so
come what may. I will not.
Mataji, that is what Bhagavad Gita is here for. Once you go through this entire thing, you can decide for yourself what is the best yoga, what is the best thing, what to
Can
do,
I add
what not to
what?
do.
No, I
Yeah.
have understood, Prabhuji.
Ah,
I am asking on
yeah, yeah.
behalf of the like that is why we are having people who are worshipping demigods and they have different beliefs. So why
See,
is it not so crisp as it is supposed to be? I'm asking.
Mataji, that is the free free will,
Why are there
independence.
leakages? Why
Huh.
are there that
No, no,
leakages
this
which
is
are
this is not leakage. The very fact that we are in this material world is because of our use of free will. Why did we come to
all
this
the more
material
we
world?
should be more strict, Prabhuji. I feel
Huh.
now you are so fallen. You please come to me now.
Hmm.
You please don't do anything of this.
But
You,
but
it
ma
was the
but
path has
Mataji,
to be straight.
but Mataji, one has to realize that he has fallen. If somebody doesn't realize he's fallen, he will continue to like that where he is, or he will continue to want to advance in material life. That is how it is. Only if you have this knowledge, what are the options, what is best for me, and what are the options, then you decide for yourself. So that is what Bhagavad Gita is
But
here.
some people are
Hmm.
not in a position to decide, no, Prabhuji. That is the sad thing.
That Mataji, they misuse their freedom in their past life. They earned so much karma that their soul is now covered in ignorance, and this is the reaction of the past life's karma. Now if somebody if like you are advanced, and somebody, if someday you see somebody is in ignorance and you give him some prasadam, or you chant Hare Krishna mantra, the scriptures guarantee that his ignorance starts getting off, right? He'll
Mm.
get out of that ignorance slowly. It might not be in one day, but if you continue to give that mercy through your some explaining him or giving him prasadam, that is what devotees do, right? They do nagar sankirtan. Anybody who hears it, whether animal also, he will be removed from ignorance. Now that animal might take another birth as a human or what, but any human being who has heard this Hare Krishna or Hari Nam or Hari Katha, he will, ignorance starts removing. He will start getting taste in this thing what you are saying, and he will realize what is gold standard and what is not. Then he will
Mm.
look for this association. Why? How? He'll start, and then Lord seated as a super soul in the heart will inspire him. Okay, this is where it is happening. Go. This is where the Shishadripuram temple is. This is where the Hari Katha happens. This is where the Harinam is, and this is where the prasadam they gave me, little prasadam they gave me. I should go for that. It happened to all of us, right? Um,
Yeah, it is actually just by accident that I came
yeah,
into ISKCON. Otherwise, I was not aware, Prabhuji.
even me. I mean, that is how it is. Yeah. So
And
that is how it is.
and
He
there
will
is no
inspire us.
particular desire there.
Mataji,
Hare Krishna, can I
actually,
just add something? Sorry,
Yes,
oh,
please.
sorry, sorry, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Huh.
Mataji, actually, to me, one point is, see, you are saying that if you put a golden rule,
Hmm.
like, okay, don't smoke, don't drink. But as soon as a boy grows up and goes to college, he will not follow the advice of his parents, and he will go and smoke a cigarette, and he will say that it's my will.
Hmm.
It is not my father's will. It is my life. It is not his life. So that is a thing that I will respond to when you put a strict rule to me. And number two, getting attracted to a demigod or to the Bhagavad Gita is actually in each independent sweet will, isn't it? I was attracted to Krishna and to ISKCON only through the Bhagavad Gita, and nothing else could attract me.
Hmm.
And that is my own sweet direction. At the age of 60 and odd, I was attracted to the Bhagavad Gita.
So,
So how do one explain for that?
huh. So see, so only through Bhagavad Gita we understand that this is
Ah,
effect of three gunas, right? Somebody who's in
yes,
Satoguna, he will attracted towards that. Somebody is Rajoguna, he
exactly.
will find attracted to himself towards those things. Tamoguna, he will be doing those things. So, but we should understand this is not our first life. This is our, we have lived so many lives, and now in Kali Yuga, the effect of ignorance is so much that soul is so much covered. That is why you find so much variegatedness. Somebody is taking to Krishna consciousness easily, somebody you have to strive so much, somebody will not take to Krishna consciousness because he is covered deep in ignorance in so and so effect of his past life's karma. Only somebody has mercy, like he hears Harinam or Hari Katha somehow or other, or he takes Krishna Prasada, that will start giving making effect. That is how you can do mercy. So in Satya Yuga, when we were here, if we were here in Satya Yuga, we were not like this. We were not in so much, you will not find things the way you find butchery shops and videos and cinemas and all the things. Life was, they had knowledge. The soul was not so much covered in ignorance. They were following four regulative principles, those things. But now in Kali Yuga, we understand that it has, the ignorance is so much, and that is why Lord came as in Kali Yuga as
Propensity,
Chaitanya.
propensity to cheat is there, Prabhuji.
All those things are there. Illusion,
Correct.
propensity to cheat, imperfect senses, must lie, those things are there.
Yes.
So only through Bhagavad Gita you get this knowledge. You understand, wow, how I was behaving in the past, and this is how things work, and this is how Super Soul is always hearing something. Whatever I'm thinking, doing, he knows everything. He's next to me, and this is how the demigods, they give this. They are empowered living entities. They give to us, and you understand the difference. If we take, I ask for these things, there is no guarantee that I will not misuse this thing. I will not, the effect of karma will not be there. There is no guarantee. I will not use it for bhakti yoga, but I'll use for more sense gratification. But so once you start finding through scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, you hear what are the do's and don'ts. How is that I can progress fast in this thing? It is something we get through the scriptures only. A guru or scriptures and
Prabhuji, sorry to intervene.
okay.
See, although I have been reading
इंटरव्यू करना पड़ेगा
Bhagavad
ये
Gita.
अंदर तो डिस्कशन खत्म नहीं होगी
Hmm.
इंटरव्यू
So
Excuse me,
so
Prabhu, can I just add? And I just
Okay,
wanted
sorry.
to leave,
yes,
please.
Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Please, please. Yeah.
You do not get Krishna prema without the mercy of the Guru and your Sukrit efforts.
Yeah.
So even when Prabhu came to fall in love with Krishna, somewhere some devotee has touched him and he's
Yes.
come into Krishna, this thing.
Yeah.
And regarding worshipping of demigods, why the Lord told them to worship, it was a fight. And it was a fight even to please like even the way the demigods were involved. Now,
Hmm.
suppose America's, like India has to fight. One second.
Probably that asking for a weapon is this is war alignment.
Right.
Like
Right.
suppose we are in war,
Hmm.
so we don't have missile, and our enemy is fighting with other missile weapon. So Prime Minister tell commander, because Krishna is the prime fighter actually. He tells he tells Prime Minister tell commander, okay, America is having to cut this. This weapon. So go and ask can America this weapon. And that Arjuna goes to Indra and then Indra tells this is not with me because it is with Shiva. You go and ask Shiva. So that way it is he showing. And it is not their material desire. It is a Dharma Sthapana. Arjuna is fighting for Dharma Sthapana.
Hmm.
And he is following instructions of Krishna. He is fighting for Krishna.
Krishna.
Krishna said, you don't fight for your desire. Arjuna does not want to fight. But Krishna forcing him to fight actually. Can you fight for me? Because so that way it is nothing wrong. Where we worship the demigod for our desire. Okay, you give me this, you give me this, you give me this for bargaining actually. There is no
Hmm.
bargaining. So for
Yeah.
that purpose, Krishna is showing them to bargain actually. Means
Correct.
not bargain, go and ask actually. Sorry, Prabhu, interrupting
Yeah.
actually.
And Prabhu,
Wonderful. Wonderful.
like the day they are like in
And he
when
is
it is
fighting
heard.
for Devtas also. That
He's
war is fighting for Devta, Krishna, everybody is involved
Yeah.
because Dharma Sthapana is there actually.
And Prabhu, like, see, like when the Shamakya jewel, when Krishna enters the cave and he does not come back, and they think he's dead,
Hmm.
The queens of Dwarka pray to the Lord Durga. So
Hmm.
there it is shown, it's a ritual. They're praying for
Hmm.
Krishna. The gopis are praying for Krishna. Over here, we are praying for, when we are praying to demigod, it's for ourselves,
Sense
our selfish
gratification.
means.
Yeah.
So Prabhu, like, this is a little what Kalani Mataji asked was absolutely 100 what we've all gone through and all that. And we
Yeah.
also don't understand. I
Yeah.
100 times don't
Hmm.
understand. And I always have this question. I said,
Hmm.
Q. But like what the Lord does is you can't question. His
Hmm.
wish, his end, and the end he says, "No, sab dharam de do, sab
Correct.
come to
Correct.
me, I will take care."
For that purpose only Bhagavad Gita says,
There.
try you understand from bona fide spiritual master
The
Bhagavad
master.
Gita, you cannot understand because
Yeah.
it is very deep. Like this,
Hmm.
this is very deep actually.
Hmm.
If you can, I also can build everything. We have to ask someone who knows. So
Yes.
we were also asking somebody who told us, yes, Krishna. He is not fighting for any material desire. He is
Hmm.
fighting for Krishna. He is fighting for demigods, and like it is a war arrangement, not
Yes. Yes.
material arrangement. Actually, in war everything is, we can ask for our neighbor like that way. This is
Hmm.
this.
Actually, if Krishna would have given directly, also others would have said, you promised
No,
not to
no.
fight.
It is no, no. Another thing
Hmm.
is there.
Hmm.
Krishna. It is. if snatching, he's snatching. He does not need to ask. He can wind up
Yeah,
in a just
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
this.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, correct,
but
correct.
he shows, he gives respect to everything. Okay,
Everyone,
it is
yeah.
Shiva is the owner of that
Weapon.
weapon,
Hmm.
and like he could ask Shiva, send this weapon to me.
Hmm.
It would have come, but
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
wants to respect. You, if somebody is owner of that weapon, you
Yeah,
cannot snatch from him.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
have to go and respect. Okay, I
Respect,
need for
take,
this one actually.
correct,
Kind of
correct,
like
correct. He wants to glorify his devotees also.
devotees
Plus,
also.
plus,
Kind of.
in universal form, he showed it to Arjuna that
Yeah.
you see whether you fight for me or not, this is already done. These are already
Yes.
being devoured. So he's time, he's Kala. This is past, present, future. He can see everything. These armies getting into his mouth, getting gnashed. All those things were there. So Krishna is showing, but very rightfully you said. Actually, to Arjuna, he actually also showed that he respectfully has to approach Lord Shiva and take that weapon, because he otherwise, what is he's empowered by to approach out to Lord Shiva, because he has that weapon. He should please him and get that weapon, and that is how he will be blessed and will be victorious. All those things are there. Very wonderful, very rightly said.
Hare
So,
Krishna, Prabhu. We in today's world, we say we are very civilized.
hmm,
Do we say that? We are civilized because of our modern education. We go to IIT or BITS or whatever, and we
hmm.
say we are educated and civilized. Are we? No,
Actually,
I would
no,
say
No.
I would say
no, no,
no because
no, no.
no. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. I would say we are not civilized because
Hmm,
if you look at chapter 16,
hmm.
divine and demonic, and if you read the demonic, we are all demonic
Yeah, yeah.
because we don't have any of the qualities that we call ourselves civilized, which
Hmm,
is
hmm, hmm,
divine.
hmm.
How do we
So,
say we are divine
hmm.
or
So,
civilized rather?
so this
We
is
are
a
actually demonic. We are not
uh,
civilized at all.
correct,
So
correct.
all
So,
these wars and illness and all that is because of that. That's not because of anything else. We can't blame this or
hmm.
that. It is
Yeah,
our
yeah.
own uncivilized way of life that has
Uh,
become demonic in every way. Uh,
so, so this is
uh,
very good realization. This is what the effect of sadhu sangha and reading scriptures like
yes,
Bhagavad Gita is, and taking association and taking prasadam.
Haribo,
It
Haribo.
has its effect. So
Yes.
very wonderful realization. It is. This was a very wonderful discussion, and this is how I also started, and others also, like Mataji also said, this is how it is through Prabhu said that through Bhagavad Gita, and this is how it is. The effect of prasadam and association and Hari Katha. Um, that is why Lord made it came and personally gave in Kali Yuga. Otherwise, it would have not have been possible for us to get out of this ignorance. So scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, we understand how things were supposed to be and what are the do's and don'ts, how we can be successful in being practicing these do's and refrain from doing the don'ts. Like not do the wrong things and do the right things. Even after coming to Krishna consciousness, we struggle, right? We know these are the things, but we find it challenging. So we need Guru and Sadhu Sangha and association and scriptures and Hari Katha. That is how um, uh, we get this empowerment or strength to actually go through this thing in Kali Yuga. So we should definitely hear Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Very wonderful discussion. Sumitra Mataji, you have question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sorry, you asking
Uh,
me, Prabhu?
I thought you
No,
are
no, no,
having.
no. I
Okay,
think okay.
okay, okay.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, thank you, everyone. This was a very wonderful, healthy discussion. It sets us
Thank
thinking.
you, Prabhuji,
Yeah.
for
So,
throwing light, and thank you, Sumantra Mataji, and
yeah,
all others who have contributed. I
wonderful.
understood that Dharma Samstapana, for that,
Actually, hmm,
and following Krishna's advice is more important.
hmm. So Krishna was giving through Bhagavad Gita. He's telling us all about all the yoga systems. Okay, these are the things you can do. This is the best, and then you decide for yourself. He does the same thing to Arjuna, and it's actually doing it for us, people in Kali Yuga. So definitely, it's a wonderful discussion. This means that you're well read and you are hearing Hari Katha. So I feel good to have participated in this.
Prabhuji, all because of guidance through gurus like you and Sridhar Prabhuji and all who was in the panel, Prabhuji. Thank you so
I'm
much.
I'm a very ordinary sadhaka like you. But definitely, Guru, if you take the Diksha from a Guru, which Prabhuji, Mataji's will guide you there, you will feel the difference, you will feel the change, how Guru's blessing works, even though he's not with you all the time, but you feel his presence if you remember him, whether it is
Yes,
altar
subtle
or.
presence. Yes, subtle
Yes,
presence. We
it is
remember.
there. So you'll feel guided. It is not that in mundane world we feel that somebody is not there. We have no contact with him. But Guru, uh, contact with Guru we will always have, and he will guide us. That Krishna guarantees. So thank you for joining.
Yes, yes,
Please join
Prabhuji.
again tomorrow, and we'll get to know further what it is. Hari Bol.
Thank you
Thank
so
Thank
you.
much,
you.
Prabhuji.
Thank you so
Hare
Thank
much.
you.
Krishna.
Thank you, Kalyani